National Computer Science Education Week is December 6th through the 10th. So you might be wondering how to do an hour of code with your class or with your students. This is a handy time to do an hour of code because it's right before winter break. Things are crazy, kids are excited, and it's a great way to keep those minds engaged. And if you are having an hour of code and the kids are having a great time, sometimes it's an hour of peace in the kingdom for you while everybody is still thinking and being creative problem solvers and learning important new skills. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to do a simple hour of code on code.org. And then we're going to look at some extensions for using code.org with your students as the school year continues. The first website we're going to look at is our usual Hour of Code website at hourofcode.com. Now, many of you have already used the Hour of Code website, and so just as a quick review, you can instruct your students to sort by their grade or by the fact that they are on a computer or perhaps a topic, right? And you can choose, and the kids can choose one of those activities. You can also learn if it's going to be block-based programming or if there's going to be a chance to write a little bit of code, and your kids can work on their own through a self-paced lesson, and every student can choose an activity that speaks to them. So that's a good way just to dive in and get started if it's your first try with Hour of Code. If you have completed a standard hour of code, or your students are just clamoring for more coding activities, the next step to dive a little bit deeper is to check out code.org. Code.org is on the FCPS approved website list, which means that if you have your digital permission forms in for your students, they can sign in using their FCPS schools Gmail accounts. Something really cool that the Hour of Code and code.org folks have done this school year is that they've created some CS connections to computational thinking and computer science that go along with regular curriculum areas. So on code.org, if you click Learn More, you'll be taken to the CS Connection site. You can start with a meaningful hour of code that connects to some programming concepts or some poetry. And once your students have completed those on their own, you can dig a little bit deeper with some modules that are designed to connect to curriculum areas. So they can create open-ended projects for science, for language arts and stories. And then there's even some lessons for both our younger students, spelling and counting, or our older students, such as thinking about ethics and being a global citizen, right? An ethical and global citizen, or some math and some data and computer science and connecting to some curriculum areas. All of these will lead you to some really great lesson plans that you can use to include computer science with your students in a curriculum area. If this is something that you're interested in working on with your students and you'd like some help, don't hesitate to reach out and I would be happy to plan with you and support your class. But you also get great lesson plans that will help you follow along if you're flying solo and you feel like you're ready to include some of these things with your students. Just because December 6th through the 10th is National Computer Science Week, this doesn't mean you have to do your hour of code at this time. Code.org and hourofcode.com are available all the time, all year round. So anytime you're looking for a thinking activity or a creative problem solving activity or a teamwork activity, these resources are available for you and your students. Plus, they're a great way to start working on some of those portrait of a graduate skills like creative and critical thinker or collaborator, right? Our students are working together. There's even a digital citizenship component. So you can think about being an ethical and global citizen. It fits into a lot of areas. So Reach out if you'd like to explore code.org some more or brainstorm some ideas for using it with your class, or give it a try yourself.